To all my fellow DMs out there, no matter how confident your new players are, regardless of whether or not they tell you what all 6 of their stats are and it's perfectly within the rules that you have set for them, always ask to read your players' character sheets because they might not fully understand something because they are new to the game. I have made this mistake because I didn't know something about my new druid player and his character. This whole time, he has been playing without spells. No, it's not to say that he hasn't had any spells. He's been using Shillelagh, and he's been using Shillelagh. He's been using Shillelagh. But I assumed he just didn't feel like using his other stats. He loved putting Shillelagh on his butter knife, running into battle. He seemed like a melee druid. He was turning into his wild shape. You can't cast spells while in wild shape, so it honestly just never came up. Anytime someone needed healing, he was currently a bear or a shark or, whatever. So there was never a reason to ask him to do any healing. And then suddenly, just at the end of the last session, he says, I don't have spells. And everybody looked at him and we said, at the start of this session, we said, oh, isn't it so cool that druids have access to all the druid spells and they can do all this and that? And we're talking about druid spells and he never once says, I don't have spells. So we sat him down and we told him, okay, here's the part of the player's handbook where your spells are, and you can ask me anything you need to know about the spells, but as long as you got the level for it, you can prepare it at the end of a long rest, and hopefully next session he'll show up. I will ask him to show me what spells he picked out, and we'll be able to take it from there. This has been a very important lesson for me as a DM, and I hope that I never let this happen again. That's not the only thing that happened in Saltmarsh today, though, because my players finished clearing out the allegedly haunted house, and they learned of the smuggling ring going on. They killed pretty much all the smugglers, even Sambalay, the leader, who I upped his HP because they're obviously a higher level. I wanted him to get a few more licks in. I even gave him the silence spell because, one of my players has a very sound-based casting system, and I thought, given the levels they're at, it might be a little more fair to give Sambalay an obviously, chosen spell, perfect for fighting this party. Regardless of that HP, though, the fighter in the party was standing 10 feet away. There's 2 bandits between him and Sambalay's just like, ha ha ha, you can't even touch me from over there. I'm going to keep flinging spells at you. And he looks at me and he goes, DM, can I throw my battle axe at him? And I said, it's not a ranged weapon, so here's what we're going to do. You're not proficient in tossing a 2-handed great axe. Go ahead, roll a d20, add your dexterity, and in my head I'm thinking, I'll give Sambalay, an extra 2 AC. Just half cover technically because of the ally in front of him. In the unlikely chance that you hit him, I'll let you roll the damage, but let's just see what happens. He crit 20s. At a beautiful time to crit 20. It was hilarious. So he takes that axe as Sambalay's laughing at him, and he just chucks it. Rolls 2 d20s, d12s, adds his dexterity bonus, does 21 damage. Right in the chest. And Sambalay just looks at it. Looks at the axe in his heart as he's pinned to the wall, and he just looks back and he goes, oh. Well played, Steermere. Well played. This was a running joke because they were on opposite ends of a wall, so they couldn't see each other's faces. The paladin in the party, named Steermere, was talking to Sambalay, saying, I am Steermere, and everyone else was like, oh god, you gave him your name, now we have to kill them or else they're going to find us later, and he's like, on second thought, I'm not Steermere. And so when the door opened, the fighter was there. So the whole time, Sambalay believes that he's Steermere. So they're talking the whole time, and as he's dying, Steermere the paladin runs around and he goes, wait, no, I'm Steermere! Does he know? Does he know I'm Steermere? And I said, make an insight check. He rolls to make an insight check. Gets like a 4, maybe a 6, I think. You have no clue. He goes to his grave. You'll never know if he knows you're Steermere. And he's, no! This is the most dramatic moment of the whole night. No! Anyways, one bandit, one smuggler, manages to break away. Steermere the Paladin follows him down and not exactly have a heart-to-heart, but he does convince him that, hey, you know, you'll probably die. And I believe he did end up dying. Yeah, because the other... No, I think he got in a boat and left. I'll have to check my notes. No, yeah, he did. He did get away because his name was Steve. Or Steve. He didn't give his real name. So Steve got away. There's also the other smuggler that got away. So I'm hoping they'll come back into play later because as of right now, the party has absolutely no clue about anything that goes on in this smuggling ring because they were very kill first, ask questions later. This, of course, comes into play of the kill first, ask questions later because they decide to go through the rest of the building. They never checked out the second floor completely. In the second floor is a dude named Ned. Ned is one of the smugglers, but he's part of the plan. They have him tied up without his clothing. He's gagged, and he's supposed to trick the party into leaving the building. Obviously, he's completely unaware of everything that went on in the basement, so he still thinks the plan is going as normal. The sorcerer and the monk both go up to the second floor, and they find this guy on the ground, tied up, and the monk's like, oh, we gotta save this innocent bystander. The obvious, rational thing to think when you see an innocent person on the ground tied up in a building full of smugglers. What does the sorcerer do? Reads his mind. A smart thing to do. Totally believable thing within the character. Reads the mind. Now, the smuggler, Ned, he doesn't know that they can read minds. So he's just thinking to himself, okay, these are the guys that I'm going to trick. And, it's all going according to plan. The boss will be happy about this. And that's when the sorcerer kills him. Just without a word. Starts casting Mind Spike. I think that's the spell. But it's a cantrip. Just over and over again until he's dead. The monk just standing there like, what are you doing? Why are you killing this random guy? How does the sorcerer respond? Walks away. Why are you playing a character who is intentionally trying to mess with the rest of the party? You're not chaotic evil. You're not evil in any sense. You were building up a relationship with the leather worker. Like, why did you do this? So I'm interested to see how this will affect the rest of the party because the paladin is good. The monk is good. The druid is a bit of a chaotic thing here. The fighter is good. So the three of them shouldn't stand for just randomly killing bystanders, especially since the sorcerer never explains what was going on inside of that bandit's head, because they know the sorcerer can read minds. A simple, he's thinking of killing us, would have sufficed. So, weirdly enough, the monk decided to keep the dead body. He actually put it in the bag of holding they obtained, so I'm not exactly sure where the monk is going with this. He might be looking to bury this person. He's heading to the old grove outside of Saltmarsh where, he doesn't know this, but a druid lives there. And I think druids can use Speak with Dead. I'll have to double check on that, but there might be a way to find out that this guy was a bad guy and maybe smooth things over as a party through narrative. As it stands right now, though, chaos for the sake of chaos? I'm all for something funny if it's stupid, but just to do something like that, these are the rough things you have to deal with as a DM. Sometimes one of your players just wants to do something that completely derails everything else the other players had going. But it's okay. You know, we're cool. We're friends. He's been one of my players since the last campaign, so I know he's not a that guy. He just did something his character would do, and we'll see what the repercussions of that are later. Regardless, though, that's pretty much all that happened this session. They cleaned out the house. They informed the butler that they cleaned out the house. The council will see them in a few days, probably, and we'll be able to move on to the other half, and then probably move on to a level up. They'll finally hit level 5, and maybe I'll start laying the groundwork, because I think I know who I want to be the big villain of the story, but I still haven't decided quite yet. Regardless, thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.